What's this?
It's a table runner.
It's a runner.
What's the table runner?
It's a table runner. So you lay it across your dining room table, and then you can put decorations or candles.
Why do they call it a runner?
So it runs down the middle of the table.
And why would you even do that? Why don't you just put it on the table?
To make it more festive.
Liz and Kristen walked into the tank looking for $250,000 for 10% of their subscription holiday decor boxes. So here's an example of what would come in the Valentine's Day box. They have 3 different size boxes to choose from. For example, this is the deluxe size. They have a standard or a mini. They have decor for all 4 seasons available and for 10 holidays. And when you sign up, you have to pick a minimum of 3. It also looks like they have different options available within the holidays. For example, they had Christmas boxes in neutral, classic, farmhouse, modern, a couple others I think too. Another way you can customize your subscription is you can either pay for all of your boxes up front and get 10% off, or you can just pay as the boxes come. Their average box sells for $127 and costs them $75 to make. So Mark thinks they've built a great business, but it's just not one that gets him excited, so he goes out. Barbara's worried about the inventory side of things with how many holidays they have, which means they'll have to keep up with a bunch of SKUs, so she goes out. Kevin thinks the whole business is too small, so he goes out, and Lori doesn't think they even need a shark, so she goes out. So we're left with Robert. So Robert talks about how he loves the holiday business model and talks about one of his previous investments, Tipsy Elves, and sees these entrepreneurs as similar to the Tipsy Elves guys in that they're great operators and thinks they can run this difficult holiday space. So he offers them $250,000 for 20%. They counter $250,000 for 12% because they're upset that his valuation values them lower than the sales they're projected to have this year, but Robert's feeling the holiday spirit. So he says, how about $250,000 for 18%? But they still aren't satisfied.
One more counter offer.
Okay.
How about 15%?
18.
How about 15?
18.
It's based on our
18.
forward-looking run rate. We're going to do $2.5 million in the next 12 months. That feels very fair.
It is, but this is a Shark Tank.
Would you do $300,000 for 18%?
I'll do $250,000 for 18%.
They end up deciding Robert's worth the extra 3% and end up making a deal at $250,000 for 18% with Robert. So final thoughts, when they first came out, I assumed this was going to be like a subscription rent decorations business, which I don't really like that model or that idea to be honest, but it makes more sense in my head than this business does, especially because in the beginning they kind of talked about storage space, and this doesn't really affect that. I personally also don't think it's that difficult to shop for holiday decorations. I did it this year, and it's not like you're buying Christmas decorations every year. The goal is to buy decorations that you keep and use every year and make traditions around, or at least that's my opinion. So I don't really understand how they're going to retain customers. They say the average customer buys 6.5 boxes and stays 2.5 years, but I don't know. I also perused their website, and their personal style isn't really my personal style, so that's just a bias thing. A lot of the stuff they have on there is really on trend right now, but that's just not how I like to decorate. Honestly, the whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If it makes sense to you, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
Let's show you guys how it works. Some of you already figured it out. So what you want to do is you want to hold it upright like this with the barbell facing outwards. Oh, yeah! Yeah, there you go. Any lines and movements? Guys, come on. I love it!
Austin and Steven zipped into the tank looking for $100,000 for 10% of their flying string toy. This product, I think a video is the best way to explain it, so here's a clip of how it works. So yeah, it's literally just a motorized string. It can go up to 35 miles an hour, but apparently it's safe to the touch, and yeah, it's just supposed to be something fun to play with. They sell for $25, it costs them $635 to make, and their year-to-date sales are $277,000. So the guys start bragging about how they've had over 200 million views of their product, but the sharks are confused how they've had that much engagement, but not the sales to match it. They say that it's all supply chain issues and they have it figured out now and are ready to rock and roll with the product with the right shark. Then the sharks start to have an argument about whether or not $25 is too expensive. I'm in the camp that it is, and apparently Walmart Canada is going to be selling them for $14.97, so they're going to have to compete with themselves with a major retailer, which isn't great. But for some reason, they get an offer from Kevin that's a straight royalty deal, $1 in perpetuity in exchange for $100,000. After that, other sharks start to go out. Lori thinks it's too early. Barbara doesn't see how she can help, but Robert is interested. He offers them $100,000 for 20%. Kevin counters at $100,000 for 15%. Robert says he'll go down to 10%, aka exactly what they came in asking for. And Kevin says he'll go down to 9%. After all the commotion, the guys say they need a minute to think. But before that, Mark has something very important to add. And it's that he's out. Now this extra thinking time has given Kevin and Robert some ideas that they should team up, and they offer $100,000 for 20%.
Would your previous offers, are those still available? Are those still on the table?
There is no rearview mirror in my life.
After they realize those previous offers are gone, they try to counter for $100,000 for 15%.
You guys realized that you had an offer before at 9%, but you didn't grab it, so now you're sitting here at 20.
And Robert are staying firm at the 20% though, and they end up making a deal for $100,000 for 20%. Final thoughts. Number one, I just think it needs to come down in price. I think 25 is way too much for something like this, but I mean, it does look fun. It honestly reminded me of those fushigi balls that were really popular in 2010. I feel like a toy like this will be like super popular for a minute, and then something we think back about like, that was random. But it looks like they're sold out right now, so hopefully that means they're doing well and not that they're having supply chain issues again. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Jess and Adam came into the tank looking for $300,000 for 5% of their smart chessboard. So here it is, and when I say smart chessboard, pretty much how it works is the chess squares light up and can help you see different move options to help teach you how to play chess or just improve your games, along with a bunch of other stuff it can do. For example, you can use it to help level out a game, so one person can have more AI assistance while the other doesn't, so you can play more of a fair match against someone who doesn't have the same ability as you. You can also play somebody remotely, and it has an app that will give you post-game analysis, and just, there's a lot of stuff. If you're really interested in everything it can do, I definitely recommend checking out their website. They started out on Kickstarter, and I actually saw that very original Kickstarter when it came out, and I desperately wanted one, but I just couldn't afford it. So I was really excited to see them come into the tank. That Kickstarter ended up raising them $1.7 million in 39 days, and their original goal was only $30,000. Not including the Kickstarter, their year-to-date sales are $400,000, and they're projected to do $1.4 million for the year. It retails at $399, and it costs them $120 to make. However, even with those sales, they do currently have debt on the company. They really wanted to make sure they got this out while chess was super popular during the pandemic. So they have a royalty deal structure where they got $392,000 in exchange for 3.92% of every sale, going back to that person until they get 1.5 times return on their investment. They also have a middleman who helped them get into manufacturing more quickly, and he gets a 20 to 30% cut. So that's a lot of pieces going to a lot of people. Mark doesn't see it as a big enough market. He's really into online chess and doesn't think enough people are really going to be interested in this physical board. So he goes out. Kevin thinks it's too complicated because of the business structure they've created with these other investors. So he goes out, and Lori's worried about getting her money back, but they really want to bring her in and offer her the idea that she could join in on the royalty.
But what would the royalty be? Try to entice me, excite me.
So they make her an offer of $300,000 for 3% of every sale until she gets 1.5 return on her investment, plus 5% equity in the company.
That's not a bad count.
It's not bad at all.
So Lori's thinking about it, but wait, Robert's still hanging around?
Guys, let me
I'll
just...
take it. Oh. It's done. Yes.
Deal. Got a deal.
And so they end up making a deal with Lori.
And we got the shark queen that we wanted. It's amazing. Lori is our queen.
Final thoughts, I really do like this idea. I want one. I do wish it was a lot cheaper though. I really think they could get the cost down. Even if they could just get it to like the $200 range, I would buy one immediately. I'm one of those people who tried to learn chess on the online platforms, and honestly, I just got so bored with it. If I'm on my phone, I just always want to be doing something else with my phone. Plus the actual chess pieces, I don't know, they just really make me want to learn. And the AI assistance thing sounds so cool because I could actually play with my partner who knows how to play chess, and that just sounds super cool. As far as the actual business side of things, it's super early in the company, so it's hard to say a whole lot about how this is gonna go. We'll just have to watch and see what happens. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you in the next one. Father and son, Bill and Bill, walked into the tank looking for $200,000 for 20% of their holiday garage covers. So here's some examples of the different covers they have, and their big differentiator is number one, the fabric they use. A lot of other garage covers use vinyl, and instead they use a polyester spandex fabric. This is to help keep it from cracking and breaking and adhere better to the door. Their other big differentiator is the connectors they use. When I looked into it myself, I mostly saw competitors using either like grommets for a flag that you have to zip tie to the garage, or actual screws and nails, whereas this is just a corner with a collar that you attach to the corner of the garage door, making it a lot easier to put up and take down. They do have a patent on the collar design. Their year-to-date sales are $175,000 in pre-sales. It costs them about $35 to make, and they sell for $120 for the one-door garage designs. These are all two-door garage styles. Similar to the ZipString guys, these guys have an issue with selling to the big retailers. They sold to a store for $43 each, so they're practically losing money at that point by selling them to them. But that's why they're here. They need help with the business side of things and the social media side of things, and honestly, they need a lot of help, I'm not gonna lie. So Barbara asks who did the designs, and it turns out the Sunbill did them, and she doesn't want to hurt his feelings, but she feels like they look kind of dated and unattractive, and she thinks they need to find somebody who actually does design, and then that could help make this more of a viable business. Also, I purposely picked these 6 designs because I think they're some of their better designs, but they didn't bring in like practically any of these into the tank except for that bottom Halloween one. The ones they brought in were, just go look on their website if you want to see them, because I agree with Barbara, there were a lot of outdated ones. Lori thinks it's kind of a hobby business for them and doesn't see how she could make a return on her investment, so she goes out. Kevin thinks they need a social media person and thinks this would sell out immediately on TikTok if they knew how to market it. I do want to point out they are here on TikTok, but it could definitely use some sprucing up. Robert agrees with Kevin and says they need a third Bill who understands e-commerce and social marketing, but he doesn't think he can be that and doesn't want to be a third Bill, so he goes out. We still have Mark, though, who starts to get into the nitty-gritty of what they really need, which turns out to be their own machine, which costs around $60,000 to $80,000.
That's $80,000? Yeah.
With that, they could make the product themselves instead of having to ship the fabric overseas to get it done there, which would help them expand more into customization and that sort of stuff, and Mark is super into it.
I just like it because I can make some for the Mavs, and I just like if the price is low enough.
Why don't you buy them instead?
What's that?
Why don't you buy the banners instead?
Yeah, but these guys are fun and they can do most of the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna work that
It's not a lot of money, this guy.
So
Mark offers them $200,000 for 30% of the business, and they end up making a deal. Final thoughts, I really agree with all the other sharks that their main struggle is marketing and design. I also feel like they brought their worst designs into the tank. When I saw the ones they brought in the tank, I honestly didn't like any of them, but then I went on their website and found multiple that I was like, oh, that's cute. Like if I saw that in my neighborhood, I'd be like, that's adorable. It also seems a lot easier than products that came before it from the little bit of research I've done. I do worry though that since they haven't shipped a whole bunch of these out, that they might find some problems they weren't aware of and have to go back to the drawing board on some of the actual mechanics of it, which is a lot harder than fixing any design stuff. But that's just speculation and maybe everything will be fine. But overall, I think it is cute. So let me know what y'all think in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.
So, Mark, you're the third Bill.
yeah,
You just like them, basically, right?
yeah, I like these guys. It'll be fun for my kids. It'll be fun for the community. It'll be fun for the
You know
Mavs.
what? Let's not even call it Shark Tank anymore. Let's call it the Fun Tank.
Yeah, well, that's where you can make a lot of money sometimes, doing a business that you have fun with.